We're recording this on Easter Saturday, and that is for the purposes of the recording. And during the lockdown, it's the 11th of April, and it's 7:20 in the evening, and we've got devices behind us, and we're looking across the Somerset and the Vale of Pewsey as it declines into the evening mists as the sun sets towards the Bristol Channel, way in the far, far distant of the picture. And now we're joined with Carol. Now Carol's got an update, and so tell us what your update is, Carol. Good to see you again.
Hi, Miles. It's great to see you again. I'm delighted to be on your show again. So lots happening, lots going on in the world. Haven't things changed from a few years ago? When I came away from your show, I continued to channel.
Now, could you say who you're channeling with?
Yeah, the Pleiadians.
Okay.
Without a doubt. So they really stepped in.
Now, I'm going to push you on this. What do you mean, no doubt? I mean, how do you know it's the Pleiadians as opposed to some other fictitious CIA mind control thing that they're sort of making you think you're doing it? I mean, how do you know the difference?
Yeah, good question. Because that does happen. We do get targeted and attacked and infiltrated by the negative agenda, which I have had. And I have been targeted by the black ops and the military in a very negative way. Very dark stuff does go on. So it's not all love and light. It's very much a Pandora's box. A lot of people are very fearful of speaking out about those experiences, especially in the beginning. And I think as they go on with the negative experiences, they begin to have courage and strength and find their voices and begin to speak out, because it can be years sometimes before someone can have experiences for years before they do speak out about the negative experiences that they're having with the negativity agendas and the negative military black ops and things like that. I do know it is the Pleiadians I'm connecting to, because not just because they've told me, but also because I know what their energy feels like, because I feel it. They've got a colour to them, they've got a sense to them, they've got a smell to them, they've got a feeling to them, they've got a vibration to them, they've got an energy to them, they've got vast knowledge, they've got a huge amount of love. So I recognise that energy when I feel it, because I've felt it before. And before and before and before and before. So I do feel that energy. I do question it now, like I didn't before.
So how do you actually question it? How do you actually? I mean, how do you do that? I mean, what's involved with questioning these things? Do you say? I mean, how do you? And if they say yes or no, I mean, how does that work? Explain.
Well, I get signs and signals that it's them that I don't really want to.
Okay, yeah.
Don't want to share, but I do get signs and signals that it is them. So through images, through codes, through symbols, through signs, I know it's them. But I have been targeted by the negative ET energies and also the negative military black ops and milaps and all that kind of stuff that's going on. So
has that happened? Has that happened since our last conversation?
Yeah, yes, it has. It's been ongoing with me for a number of years. Yeah, it's still happening. Not to the extreme that it was, because I'm getting more and more help with it now. From various different sources and people and places, which I'm not going to go into, but I understand it better, and I'm better at playing their game now than I was, because I understand it better.
Are you able to describe what that game, as you say, is? In what ways that actually manifest as?
question. There's a positive agenda and a negative agenda, and the negative is to control us, dumb us down. They do target the good guys or the white hats or the positive agenda or the spiritual people to work for them, to gain control of them and over them, so that they stop them from working in the light, working for the good. You know, many of us have been bribed with money. So they do. It's all about control. They want control over the earth, and they'll do anything to get it. They'll do anything to get it.
And what's happening now? What's the situation in terms of the update from the things that we discussed about a week or so ago?
Okay. Well, I don't remember what I said to you on the last interview about the information I had. So if I could just go over it again and then include some of the new information, if that's okay with you, Miles.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So
we're sort of free format here. We're not the bloody BBs.
Did you watch the David Icke?
Yeah, I recorded that. I downloaded that, physically recorded it onto a hard drive, and that's the only way to keep this stuff. You've got to physically have it as media on a hard drive off your computer elsewhere. Because I've seen a whole folder full of files with Christine Joanna Hart's shows just drift across the screen and disappear. And she was very annoyed about that. So was I, because with a lot of effort putting that together for a year. But, these things, even WhatsApp during the week reset itself, and a lot of material that was sent to me, and Facebook here reset itself to 2016. So there's stuff that was in 2016 suddenly got dumped onto my phone, and all the stuff that had been recent was lost. So things are happening. You cannot rely on your iPhone or smartphone to retain information, or your computer. You've got to print it, put it on a disk, get it off the damn computer. Yeah. And the laptop wiped out everything. I mean, this is one thing after another. Okay, back to you, my dear.
Okay, thanks, Miles. I think there's. I just want to say, just quickly before I do go through the information, I think there is, we do get targeted when we do this work like you're doing, and files do go missing, and our the technology that we're working with does get. We get listened to, we get recorded, we get it's just a game to them, so I'm not surprised that your technology has gone a bit haywire.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to share what they've told me, what the Pleiadians have shared with me. So this is a bioweapon that has been created by the negative agenda to on purpose. So it was planned well in advance.
What is it? If you could refer to it, if you could refer to the name as opposed to it or them, if possible.
Okay, Miles, thanks, love. So I'm talking about the coronavirus was created by the negative agenda in order to. Sorry, this happened to me before, Miles, where I could feel the negative coming in.
Well, the negative can feck off. It's a basis interview. Yeah. Any negativity that comes into a basis interview gets kicked in the ass, out the door. So let's go to get on with it.
Okay, so the coronavirus is a bioweapon that was created to, by the negative agenda.
Yeah, by the negative agenda. Focus forward. Come on, sweetie.
Okay. I'm sorry,
carrot and stick here. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Chocolate carrot, chocolate bunny rabbit carrot, because it's Easter, right? Chocolate bunny rabbit carrot, non-essential item. Shouldn't have bought it. You're just going to eat all that chocolate tonight during the show, but not quite. Okay.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. So the coronavirus was a bioweapon that was created intentionally through the negative agenda to 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 help to wipe us out. It's something that was planned intentionally.
Okay. Well, are you referring to Agenda 21 and Agenda 30, the Georgia Guidestone stuff?
I haven't, Miles, I'm a channel for the Pleiadians, and I don't research stuff. I don't know the names of people. I don't know the kind of I don't watch the news. I don't even watch a lot of YouTube. I don't Google stuff.
You
I
don't
don't
watch
know.
the BBC? Everybody should be watching the BBC obediently. Clap, clap, clap your hands. Clap, clap.
No,
Okay.
I'm not a follower, Miles. I'm
Let's.
absolutely not a follower.
Well,
I'm not sheep, and I don't follow the masses. I when I began to channel the Pleiadians, I was in a little tiny place in the middle of nowhere in Ireland, and I was sat in my home, and I was channeling, and a vast amount of information came through. I wasn't researching, I wasn't Googling, I wasn't YouTubing, I wasn't reading it. I was getting it directly from the Pleiadians. I hugely regard researchers because it takes a lot of time to research stuff. I don't have the time to do that. I'm a channel. There's times I do research stuff, but it's only if I have to. Only if I have to. I'm not a researcher, and I do have a lot of respect for researchers because it takes so much time. But that's not my job. It's not my mission. My mission is to channel the information through. And then people can either go away and research it if they choose to and find out the value of it. But that's that's why I'm here. I'm here to share this information with humanity, and they can take it or leave it, and they can research it or not. But the bioweapon was created by the negative agenda. So there's a lot going on. So they've showed me that if you look at a stage and if you're in a theatre and you look at the stage and you've got the stage, and then behind that there's the curtain, which is where it's all happening. There's so much happening. So there's a lot of information that I need to share. So I'm just going to go through it, and then if you want to bring up anything, please do.
Go for it.
Okay, thanks, Miles.
Saturday evening with chocolate carrots. Yeah. Go for it.
Okay. So food, we really need to get back to basics. They've showed me that there is a high possibility that our food will become in short supply and high demand. Now, that may not happen, but if it does, we are fucked. So it's really important, and I do believe it will happen.
That's the failed crop failure with this we got hit by a big radiation thing a couple of days ago. Yeah. Our magnetic field isn't out there. It's declining because of the Maunder minimum. We're only at the start of this, so
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's going to get a lot worse. If food does become in short supply and high demand, which I'm saying it will, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm not.
Well, let's deal with practicalities, doom and gloom, whatever.
Okay.
Let's get the practical realities so we can deal with practical solutions.
We need to start growing our own food, and we need to start doing it now, because if the supermarkets do run dry, then what are we going to do? We don't have anywhere to turn to for our food supply.
Well, that's a long-term measure. These crops take a long time to grow, and
it is. But we need to start, which is why we need to start growing now. We absolutely need to start growing our food now.
Now, what about people in apartment buildings? It's okay if you got a garden, and most people's gardens in the old days were actually designed to provide, growing large amounts of your own vegetables and things. But that's been built on. Where do people go in apartment buildings and stuff to do something?
They can use their gardens. They can use the forest. They can use little sections of forest land. Now, I'm not saying you have to have a huge field somewhere, but you can start by growing on a windowsill or plot up against a wall somewhere. You can ask your neighbour. You can get an allotment. You can use anywhere that you can think of. Anywhere that you can think of. You can get a little greenhouse or an allotment or your neighbour's garden or a windowsill or...
I mean, sometimes, I remember we would just grow mustard and cress. And that gives you enough vitamins, it gives you enough those vital minerals to really make a big difference when you've got a very poor diet. And
Well,
that can be grown on blotting paper on a tray.
Yeah, any inch that we can grow on, we should be growing, because it doesn't have to be a big, huge field of lots of different things. It can be the small things. Nettles grow wild. There's a lot of things we could be doing that grow wild that we could be sourcing from. Nettles have a great source of iron.
Yeah, iron. They go well with potatoes and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they're very nice. Nettles are very nice. They taste very much like spinach. And there's wild garlic. There are wild, things that are wild, like wild garlic and stuff that we could be collecting and using. It's absolutely crucial, for our survival. If we do run short, we need to be growing them now. GMO crops and chemtrails are real and have huge negative effect on our bodies. The chemtrails, I believe, I feel that they have done something, that they are doing something with chemtrails at the moment on a more extreme level, because I do know that birds are dying and birds are behaving and acting in a very strange way.
Is that not 5G?
It's possible. It could be both, but there is so much going on. It's not just one thing. It's not just coronavirus and 5G. There's a whole load of other things that are all going on simultaneously.
So in some respects, this virus and the 5G is maybe a distraction to distract us from other things that are happening.
Yeah, that's absolutely. COVID-19 is a distraction to keep us in our homes, keep us dumbed down, keep us on lockdown, so they can get in there and put up the towers for 5G. That's part of it. But there's other stuff that's all going on. This is very planned, very timed, very coordinated, worldwide operation. This is not something that was released by accident or on a without any planning. This is a massive plan that's been put into place, and there's lots of little things that are going on, all coexisting at the same time now. So it's not just one thing. There's lots of things going on, vaccines included. So I'm just going to read through the info. Okay, so supermarkets and pharmaceutical companies, money and banks, we really need to start taking our power back from them, because they have taken our power and we've given it to them. We need to take our power back from them. 5G has a huge negative impact and effect on our bodies that we don't even understand.
Well, I think you'll find that Dr. Graham Downing, who is with the Alternative View conferences, there's a lot of videos he's done with the Alternative View, and I'm saying this right now because as we speak, Ian Crane, the creator of the Alternative View conferences, is very seriously ill, and I think maybe there could be bad news tonight. But anyway, the crucial thing is that this information is available. It's available on excellent presentations by Dr. Graham Downing at the Alternative View site. The details from a doctor is available on that site, Ian R. Crane or Alternative View. Okay.
And if everyone could send healing to him, because that will make a difference. Energy does make a difference. Okay, so internet will go down. There will be power cuts. The new information that I've got is that the weather will be affected. What I got the other day, Miles, is that the Earth is very connected to the time of Atlantis. So it's almost like a parallel timeline where we are very similar to the time of Atlantis, so the time, I'm going to have to go into Atlantis because it's connected to what's happening now.
Go ahead. So, I just need to make a little adjustment, so keep going.
Thanks, love. So this information is very new to me. We are going back to the time of Atlantis. Negative ET energy came in. They observed the positive Atlanteans at the time. Now, the Atlanteans had a very high vibrational energy. They were very spiritual. They were more advanced than we are. They were operating on a higher frequency, a higher energy, a higher level, a higher awareness. and and it was before our DNA was changed. So the negative ET energy came in, and they they infiltrated them, they overtook them, they began to control them, and they changed our DNA. Now our DNA, we're at a time now where everything seems to be going back, everything's aligning up, including stars, where we're going back to a time similar. It's very parallel to Atlantis, and we're going back to a time very similar to Atlantis, which is changing our awareness, where this is the biggest event in humanity's history, where we are shifting our awareness and our consciousness and our vibration. We're going back to a time similar to Atlantis, before our DNA was changed by negative ET energy, and it was. And that's proven now. I watched a thing the other day by Greg Braden, where they've proved now, science has now proved that our DNA was changed deliberately.
What sort of time was that? Well, what sort of period of time was that?
That was during Atlantis.
Okay.
So I don't know. I haven't been shown the time period, but it was at the downfall of Atlantis, or just before it. I would say just before the downfall of Atlantis, because they would have had to, the negative would have had to prepare. So in the way that they're doing now. So I can't get across enough how similarity there is between Atlantis and now, what's happening now. So the Earth is shifting. Something hit the Earth, and the Earth shifted off its axis. And that caused everything to shift. The land shifted, and Atlantis
the
fell.
so-called mud floods and stuff like that.
Atlantis fell, and which I believe was in Antarctica, where Antarctica is now. The Earth is, what I was shown the other day, Miles, and I very much get shown in images. What I was shown the other day is that the Earth is twisting back to its original axis, and there is two streams of light hitting the Earth at the moment. One is positive and one is negative. And when the Earth twists back to its original axis, that twist is going to divide into two, and it's going to split and divide into two, one positive and one negative. The positive is going to raise, and the negative is either going to stay where it is, or it's going to fall and lower into either the same frequency or a lower frequency. And this new Earth is going to raise into a new dimension or a new frequency. So the Earth is going to twist and split and divide, and one is going to be positive and one is going to be negative. That's how I was shown in very simple terms.
Well, it's interesting you've said that, because the science, on the scientific side of things, exactly what you're talking about in terms of energy. Professor Valentina Zarkova is just a basis masterclass. She's describing how the sun's magnetic fields, there's two magnetic field waves, one is going positive and one is going negative, just as you described. Okay.
But the thing is, Miles, with me, I didn't have any schooling.
Yep, I never. That's great. That's fine.
The Pleiadians stopped me from going, and thank God they did, because they said to me I would have been lost to them if I had gone. So thankfully I didn't buy into the system. I'd also like to talk about schools a bit more, but I want to continue with thank you, with the twist and the shift, because our DNA has been changed at the time of Atlantis by negative ET energy, and we are now going back to a time where our DNA is raising naturally. So if you imagine a piece of string, which is the DNA, which has been changed and manipulated, a piece of string, if you imagine a coil, where it eventually will go, if you pull it, eventually it will go back to its original state. That is what's happening with us, with humanity at the moment. We are going back to our original blueprint, our original DNA. Now that's happening naturally, but we also have assistance. And that is why they have sprayed us with chemtrails and GMO crops and 5G, because they don't want our DNA to go back to its original natural blueprint, its natural state of harmony and love and peace and being enlightened and having a higher energy, because they want to continue to control us. The other thing I want to mention is that the as we go through these changes, the earth is going to change, the weather on earth is going to change. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen within a week. This is over a long period of time, but everything is heightened now because of what's happening on earth. So the weather will, what I see, what I've been shown is that the weather will change. I see storms, I see tsunamis, I see bad weather ahead. I see dark days. I see days where the internet's going to go down. There will be power cuts. The animals will be affected by not just the birds. The animals will be affected by the weather. I see them with a lot of fear and reacting through fear in quite an aggressive way. Now, I don't know if I'm just seeing domesticated animals or wild animals, but I'm definitely seeing large animals like lions and large animals. So I don't know if I'm
Are you talking Africa here or India?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, am I seeing those animals because it's in Africa, or it's going to happen in Africa as one of the places? I think it's going to be worldwide. I don't think it's limited to certain places.
I mean, are we talking about something like when the mammoths in northern, which are now northern Siberia, were in a summery place, and then suddenly they just, summer grasses and herbs and stuff they were eating, and then just suddenly bingo, frozen.
I don't know, Miles. What I do know is that this is the biggest event that we've ever had in Earth's humanity, and there is a lot more going on than COVID-19 and 5G for that matter as well. So
explain it.
This affects us on a global scale. It affects our DNA. It affects everything within us. Our DNA is raising, and the whole point of what's happening on Earth at the moment is for the negative agenda to keep control of us and dumb us down, keep us in fear, which is a frequency of vibration that can be measured like all of the other emotions. So they have technology and media and information where they can send out signals through the media to keep us controlled and dumbed down and in fear. And that's part of it. That's part of what's going on. So we need to start going back to basics, growing our own food, but also with money. We need to start more than ever. We need to stop listening to what we're being told, and to, as much as we can, to try and make sure that the small businesses continue, that we continue to support and buy from small businesses, the local businesses.
This is a very important thing, because they're the one people getting hit these days. I mean, they're getting really hit. These young small businesses forced to close while the corporates stay open.
Yeah. And I can see the gap and feel the gap between the small businesses and the big corporates becoming more and more and more and more, and the smaller businesses less and less. So that's the way I see it going. And if we allow that to happen, there's going to be no small businesses, and we're only going to have the large corporate companies and the supermarkets and the pharmaceutical companies ruling us, and the crops and the sprays that they use. It's just a huge, massive setup. With the vaccines as well, where we are going to be forced to have compulsory vaccines that are have microchips in them.
That's another thing the BBC has been pushing in their comedy programs. Get vaccinated, get vaccinated.
Yeah. There is a list of natural remedies in my new book. It's free at the moment, but I'm good. So get it now. I'm going to update it, but I'm still in mid-flow.
So give us the title, and where do people get it?
Okay, but I'm still in the mid flow of channeling, so I haven't completed it yet.
Okay.
So, but the title, well, it's on my website. It's called The Coronavirus, and it's got a couple of subtitles. It's been banned on Amazon. I'm not going to publish it because I'm saying stuff that they don't want people to hear. So, most importantly, there is.
And what other things are you saying which people aren't meant to hear?
Okay. Well, I'm just going to go into that.
Go there. Get on.
Okay. So there's going to be mass UFO sightings across the Earth, and there has been since I put that post up. There has been, because I know the information I've got is accurate. So there's going to be mass UFO sightings. I'd be very surprised, Miles, if there isn't a landing. And I see there being a landing, a genuine landing, not a fake one. I'm not saying that.
You're talking about the White House lawn?
I haven't heard of that.
But I mean, it's a famous, when UFOs land on the White House lawn, like they did in the
Oh,
day
White
before
House.
tomorrow,
Sorry.
whatever it was, that great 1950s science fiction film.
I don't
Not the
think
day
I've seen
after tomorrow. That was another film.
I don't think I've seen that, love.
Oh, it's a classic science fiction. Literally flying saucer lands and this guy comes out in a robot. Oh, it's a great movie. Yeah, it's a good science fiction thing.
Yeah.
Look it up.
Okay. The Rainbow Warriors. We are the Rainbow Warriors.
In what way?
The Rainbow Warriors is a prophecy by the Native Americans, by the Cree and the Hopi, and various different other ones, who. So it's on the internet. You can look it up, but it's the Rainbow Warriors. We are the Rainbow Warriors. So you can look up this prophecy and prediction, but we are the Rainbow Warriors. And I'm coming to realize that StarSeeds. I've always used the word StarSeeds, but I'm beginning to realize that StarSeeds and Rainbow Warriors are the same thing. Because they don't come from here. They come from the outside in, and they have different colors and races and nationalities. They're not from Earth. They come from the outside in. So we are the Rainbow Warriors. And the time that is prophesied within that prophecy called the Rainbow Warriors, that is the time that's happening on Earth now. And we need to take action. We need to take back our power. And there's so much we can do. When you take the energy of one person, sitting down, meditating, sending love and light, being love and light, being in their power, awake, aware and conscious, and you multiply that person by 1,000, we do have great power. That power of standing up and standing united and standing together and standing in our power and standing in groups is not what they want. They want to divide us and conquer, divide and conquer. That, they do want to do that. So we need to stand up and unite and not be separated somehow, whether it's through the internet or it's through physically meeting. I would recommend that we do start meeting, albeit if we have to, in secret, in meditation groups, in drumming groups,
Well, they've had to do that before.
Yeah. So if that's where we need to go, then that's where we need to go. We need to not let them take control. People are saying, what can we do? What can we do? Well, we need to get together and we need to get off our asses and take action. Yes, I'm very much about love and light and peace and being love.
Yeah,
and
what kind of action? I mean, are you talking about? I mean, what do you think that you're specifically identifying as action? Because I mean, this weekend there's going to be people deliberately going to breach the house arrest conditions. And,
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, there's a move to do that. Would you
send me some links?
Yeah.
Thanks, Miles, because I haven't seen that. Even now, I don't really watch the news, and I should be, because it is a form of information, but it's a negative energy with it, which is based on fear. So we need to get together. We need to create groups, albeit in secret. We need to start talking and sharing this stuff. When you divide people, so this goes into metaphysics and how energy works. When you keep people apart, energy has fluidity, has movement, has it's like smoke. It has fluidity and movement. It has consciousness. It can communicate with the person next to you on some level, sometimes telepathically, sometimes psychically, sometimes intuitively. When you separate people, you're separating them from communicating with each other. We don't just communicate through our voices and eye contact. There are other ways to communicate. So when you separate people, you're separating them from communicating with each other. It's a bit like the hundredth monkey story. We communicate through vibration, through sound, through energy, through feeling. So in stopping us from coming together in large groups, they're stopping us, our consciousness expanding and connecting with each other and communicating with each other on different levels. So it's not just about not catching the COVID-19. There's other stuff going on there as well. When you stand in a room with someone and you love them, you can feel it. Now that room could be 100 feet apart, but you will feel it. That energy can go across the thousands in between you and the other person. So energy has movement, has fluidity, has consciousness of its own that can reach across the miles and the distance in between. The hate can do the same thing. So they're very well aware that all this stuff is real, because they're partly keeping us apart because of it, because they don't want our consciousness to. When I'm doing talks and public speaking, I talk about this stuff and I look at the people and I connect with them the majority of the time. And it's through doing that some people get me that would never have got me before, because I'm in their space. I'm in their aura, I'm in their fields, I'm in their energetic fields. And that has an impact on what I'm talking about and why they're trying to keep us apart now, because they don't want us to wake up. It's a bit like a light going off in one area and then another light and another light and another light, and it just keeps expanding and expanding. That is how consciousness works, and that is what they're stopping or wanting to stop.
Yeah, I can see that. And I mean, okay, continue.
Okay, and food. You know, we are so lied to about everything on a mass scale, and the very opposite is true. If it's okay, I'd like to go a bit into schools. Because
go ahead, because this is very important in terms of a lot of children and people. Obviously, they're not at school anymore, but this is an opportunity for parents to home educate things. Yeah. And maybe the children who already know things might be able to educate the parents.
Yeah. Yeah. So the school system is designed by the negative agenda to keep the kids dumbed down and devolved, so they don't tune into their own natural psychic abilities, their own intuition, their own empathic.
Oh, they certainly don't want that.
No, they certainly don't. So the school system is designed to keep kids dumbed down and follow. Control, follow, manipulate, keep them dumbed down, keep them in fear. So that is a huge excuse, and we're ruled by it. You know, everyone sends their kids to school because it's the done thing. You know, I'm no different to anyone. The only thing that's different about me really is that I didn't go to school and I didn't have the conditioning from the school system in the same way that most kids do, which I think had a huge impact on me in my ability to connect with the Pleiadians, because I didn't have all that stuff coming at me like the other kids did. So I was blessed in a way. I was blessed. But it's through the Pleiadians, because they kept me out of the school system. Well,
I mean, the point is that there are other commentators, other observers, which are saying something similar in terms of the Pleiadians, who are, meant to be saving us from the Draco and the harvest and all sorts of
Yeah.
things that are happening. So I mean,
Yeah.
this is sort of something that others are talking about.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that because I really don't, Mars. I don't Google stuff. I just want to get it from them and the reason I just want to get it from them is because when I connect with them, they have such a huge amount of love, energy, and vibration and consciousness that I can feel it, and that's how I know it's them. Because there has been times I've got information and I haven't felt that love energy. So I know the difference. I know when it's them and when it's not. And there have been times I've been misguided and misled to believe it was Pleiadian when it wasn't. But I now know the difference. Thank God. I now know the difference because it's the feeling of love is immense. Okay, so the school system is horrendous. It's set up to control kids. They are taught things in school like science and history that goes way back, that is proved now to be wrong and inaccurate and misled and false information. So what we're teaching them is nonsense. It's nonsense. Kids are sent to school and they're taught to be dumbed down and manipulated and fear-based and sit down and shut up and do as you're told. And no, you're not allowed to go to the toilet. No, you're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to have a voice. Write it this way. Scribble that out. Do this, do that. It's control, 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 control. And I absolutely believe that we should stop sending our kids to school, because that's where it starts. That's where the negative agenda starts really working on our kids. To send your kids to school is actually very cruel when you understand that school systems are set up by the negative ET agenda and have puppets working for them, whoever it be. All the governments, all the supermarkets, all the pharmaceutical companies, it's all the same thing. It's just different aspects. And the school system is no different. It is set up by the negative ET agenda and has puppets working for it. I'm not saying that there aren't good teachers, because there are. There are good teachers. I've met one or two of them in my primary school, and thank God I did, because they showed me some love. Through their teachings and what they were teaching. So anyway, so to send your kid to a school is really cruel. We need to be.
Well, you don't have much choice. I mean, you get them.
No, we
kids,
do.
I got the impression you get your kids taken off you if you don't send them to school.
My mum, I wasn't taken off my mum, and I never went to school. So what we need to be doing is we need to be educating our children. They do need to be educated, absolutely. I'm not saying don't educate your kids and go and watch telly for the rest of your life, or go and, focus on your kids and show them, educate them at home, or alternative schools like the Rudolf Steiner school or different ones.
Yeah, that's a big deal, the Steiner schools. Yeah.
They absolutely need educating, but they need educating in things that they're not learning at the moment. Simple things like how to cook, how to grow plants, how to grow vegetables, how to communicate with each other in a loving way. Bullying is also very much part of the negative school agenda, and bullying has been going on since the schools began.
But what about these brilliant some people call them star childs, these children, or indigo children? I mean, this is a bit old. I mean, these children of today seem to already be aware of this sort of ET side of things.
Yeah. Can I just get into that into a minute, Miles?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
That's where I'm going with this. So we need to start educating our children at home, if necessary, about the Earth and the Earth's real history, our environment and the weather and the chemtrails, and that we don't come from here, and the plants and the healing and the music and the sound, and color has vibration, sound has vibration, cymatics and drumming and trees and plants and sound and nature and the stars, and there's so much that we could be teaching them that we're not. I mean, when I was 16 and I left home, I didn't know how to cook, how to sew, how to boil an egg. I didn't know anything about practicalities of day-to-day living. I was out there in the world doing it myself. So, we need to get back to basics, teach them about plants and the earth and trees and Mother Nature and the star system and astrology and the ancient tribes, the ancient peoples, and how they lived, how they connected with nature and Mother Earth and the animals. When you go and hug a tree and you place your heart center on the tree and your feet on the roots of the tree and you bow your head, you connect, you're doing one of two things. You're humbling yourself to the tree. Your third eye is connecting to the tree. And the tree has the consciousness, awareness to connect with you and to talk to you and to share things with you, to share the consciousnesses blend. I'm not saying that the tree is going to start talking to you in a voice that you can hear, but it will start communicating with you if you're open to it on a very subtle level. Trees and plants and animals all have an ability to communicate with each other and with us.
Is that through their sort of pheromone system or the root system? I mean, they seem to. I refer again to the Anastasia books about in Russia and Siberia, how the trees can communicate. Some trees send energy up into the upper atmosphere. Some trees bring that energy down, and there's a symbiotic relationship energetically, and they all sort of communicate along with the plants and animals.
Yeah, that's very true. I would say that it's both. The energy goes up and goes down, either at the same time or separately. So it's one or the other or both. What I've been shown is that the trees, the roots of the trees, are all connected through the roots of the trees, which would be not just the trees that are next to each other, but it's more extreme than that. It's the trees around the earth. So all the trees around the earth are able to communicate with each other through the root system. They're not separate. Like we're not.
I think I might have mentioned this the last time, but there's one of the basis people. She picked up on how the coral in the South Pacific near Australia or the Indian Ocean was actually communicating with the coral of one of Jupiter's moons, or was it could be Saturn's moons? But they were sort of somehow communicating and singing to each other.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Because if we can communicate with beings outside of our Earth, which we can, if the trees can communicate with each other, surely the planets can communicate with each other. Surely the ETs
seem to.
The ETs can communicate with each other. This is the biggest lie we've been given, that is, that we're unconnected and that we're separate from each other. It's the biggest lie of humanity, and humanity is waking up now and realizing. And one of the other things I'd like to mention is that they want to keep us dumbed down and control and separate, and they do that through different in every section. So they do it with money and banks. They do it by control. They do it with supermarket companies, with pharmaceutical companies, with all the corporations that control us. It's all the same thing. It's just different compartments. Excuse me, different areas. They also do it by dividing us, by putting us in fear, putting us in war with each other. So man against man, woman against man, black against white, child against elderly person, race against race. There's been a huge war on spiritual people and ancient tribes.
I mean, absolutely. Caroline Emmerich's discussed this way back in AD 500. There was a massive attack on any of these senses, the very things you're talking about, and that came from a devilish force in the East.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the same thing, just in different ways. So they divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. United we stand, divided we fall. Divide and conquer. That's been coming to me quite a lot recently, where they've set us up and put us at war with each other. You know, we are all connected, whether we're white, black, young, old, female, male, transgender, bisexual, gay, lesbian, whatever we are all energy source. We are all God source, and we are all connected. We are brothers and sisters, and we are here en masse. We are not separate from each other. So it is beyond me sometimes the capacity they have to set us up against each other, to create some of the genocide and the wars and the hatred that they do create on Earth, where we're fighting each other. And actually, we need to put our weapons down and start realizing what's really going on. What's really going on.
So what is going on? What is actually going on, and what's happening with this war, and what's happening with this channeling? We've got about another, I think, about 7 minutes left on this. So, I mean, where do you see this happening, and that people could see? You mentioned UFO sightings. Some people have seen something fairly soon.
I know, Miles. There's been a lot of UFO sightings being put on Facebook. We need to keep recording. We need to keep recording, and recording the mass sightings and the UFOs. I do absolutely believe that there's going to be a landing, a genuine landing. And I'm keeping an eye out for mass arrests or arrests that are going on, because I did watch David Wilcox, and I do believe what he's saying. I resonate with what he's saying. I also resonate with what David Icke has said as well. So, you know, David...
You're referring to the London Live one that's been banned?
I am.
That's LondonReal.tv, LondonReal.tv.
Yeah.
And what aspects, a very long interview, which aspects of that did you find? I mean, which aspects of David Icke's thing which resonates with you?
The war on humanity. You know, we are at war, and we have been since the Atlantis fell. What happened during Atlantis is that they didn't go anywhere. They didn't go anywhere. What happened is our DNA was changed, and we were no longer able to connect with them. Or channel them. We were no longer able to see them physically. That's the difference. That's what changed us. They changed our DNA so we could no longer see them land. We could no longer see them physically like we did back then. That's still happening. That's why we're not seeing it. Some of us are. Some of us do still have the ability to channel and to see them, and to see them in the clouds, and to take pictures. So there's so much I could go into.
Well, go into it now.
Okay, so we are at war, basically. It's a war.
And who's fighting who, and how do we know about this, and whatever, in the last 5 minutes? Yep.
It's a war between light and dark, between positive and negative, between ET races. We don't come from Earth. Our DNA has proved that I don't know the name of the scientists that have proved that Greg Brayton is one.
Yes, Greg Brayton's been brilliant author from Hay Publishing. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So where do ordinary people see evidence of this, so they can actually sort of understand what's happening here? Well,
there's people like you, Miles, that are exposing this stuff. You know, they could go to I don't know if you have a website, but they could go to your Facebook where...
Yeah, it's the basisproject.org where...
Yeah. Start reading. You know, there is stuff we can do. If I can channel the Pleiadians, I'm not different to anyone else. I'm not different. I may be... It's like a radio station. We all have different frequencies, and I'm sitting at one end, and we're all operating at different levels. So if I can connect with the Pleiadian energies, so can everyone else. There is not one person on this planet that cannot connect with Pleiadian or channel information. What we need to do is we need to be love and come from love. That's how we can change things. That's where I was going with it. If you multiply the 1 by the 1,000, we need to stand up and be love and light. And yes, we need to take action. We don't just need to be love and light and nothing else, because that is acquiescing I think that's how you pronounce it, acquiescing. So we need to take action, like David Icke is saying. We do need to take action, and we need to stand united and come together and meet secretly in groups, in meditation, in yoga, in Tai Chi, in drumming, in sound, in healing, in singing, in choirs, back into the churches, back into society, back into our businesses, back into humanity. We need to connect. We need to stand up and say, no, this is not okay, and this is not right. We need to balance it with love. So we need to balance it within ourselves. We need to let go of the fear and the craziness and the negative emotions and be love. And we need to balance, because we haven't really, a lot of us haven't taken action before. We've just been in love and light and let everything be. And now we need to stand up and step up and shout it out if we need to. But we need to take action with the love and the light that comes with it, because that's who we are in our essence. But if we just stand in the love and light, this is going to, because that's what they did in Atlantis. That's what they did in Atlantis. They stood in the love and light, and the negative came in and 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 took them over.
What do you mean by they stood in? I mean, you're saying they stood in the love and light, but that didn't save them. What happened?
Well, the negative came in and 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 was observing them for a while, until eventually they came in, they took ownership, they changed the DNA at the time of Atlantis, they dumbed them down, they took control over them. And now what's happening, they didn't see it coming, because they were just love and light. Atlanteans were just love and light. They were operating at a higher frequency, so they didn't see this negative energy, negative ET energy coming in. What's happening now is very parallel to what happened at Atlantis, but we are seeing it with our own eyes, and we have the choice to either let it be and let it be and let it be, or we can stand up and say, no, this is not okay, this is not a right, this is against humanity, this is against our everything. So we need to take action. We absolutely need to take action.
And now okay, people have talked about this, about action, taking action. I mean, what do you exactly mean about that? I mean, this is a bit, I'm pushing this, is a bit vague. I mean, you're talking about people walking on the streets or what? I mean, what does this mean to somebody intrinsically at home?
I mean, do not accept a 5G mast being outside your house or your community or your neighborhood. Burn them down if you need to.
No, we can't say that. I cannot let you say that. I mean, you cannot get civil disobedience to burn things down. We can't do that. You cannot encourage people to break the law like that. How do you see this being done in a peaceful way? Because we cannot have members of the public just going and burning everything down, because a lot of these masts aren't even the frequencies which cause harm. I mean, the really bad ones, the gigahertz ones. But we cannot have people going into the streets burning things down. That is not something which I can sanction on the basis project. So I have to stop that there. But, what else are you talking about?
I don't know then, Miles. I don't know how we get rid of them without doing that. I don't know.
Well, why don't we talk to Ofcom? They're the people who are licensing this. Ofcom are sanctioning and licensing transmission frequencies which kill you and cause harm. Surely there are legal ways to investigate Ofcom. They're investigating us if we dare so much as question this. But they're the people who are legally sanctioning the killing of human beings from these frequencies. And that's a genocidal crime that you could be hung for. Yeah, it's treason.
Then we need to get rid of them. If they are the ones...
Well, I mean, how do we do this? I mean, this is really important. I mean, how do we do this in a legal way? They're committing a crime. They are committing a crime of genocide by sanctioning these frequencies and these transmission systems to monitor us and ultimately kill us. What is the actual solution to that?
We need to get together en masse. I don't know, Miles. I don't know.
Well, how did people get together en masse in the good old days before the internet? Like, when people rebelled against Oliver Cromwell. I'm in the Devizes. This is the town where the English Civil War happened. They didn't have the internet then. They didn't have mobile phones, and they didn't have telephones, but they still had a bloody war. and
We could
they
be
took
going-
down the king, and Oliver Cromwell came along and did what he was going to do.
Yeah, we could be going into an uprising, and I have seen in my mind's eye, I have seen riots and pillaging and things like that. So, that's where we could be going with this. I've also watched David Wilcox, where he talks about I think it's the A&R.
He's only got one. He's not Cox. That's a joke, but he's David Wilcock. Yeah, okay.
Sorry, that's the way I pronounced it.
Yeah, well, we just kind of have this sort of thing going on here. David Wilcock, okay.
Okay, so...
Now, why should we pay attention to David Wilcock? I mean, to be perfectly blunt, he sanctioned Corey Good, which I personally feel was a load of whatever. But, okay, this is, where were you going with this?
Okay, I don't know. I've heard the name Corey Good, I think it is, but I don't know anything about him. I don't know who he is. Don't know what he looks like.
We leave that out. This has nothing to do with your discussion, your perception of what your experience is. This is what I'd like you to concentrate on. Your personal, what are you getting here on this?
Okay. Well, when I watched the video with David Wilcock, he was talking about the A&on and the white hats going in and
QAnon.
Sorry,
anonymous.
Yeah, which I hadn't heard of before, and if they do exist, because I haven't heard of them before, I don't know, I haven't come across them before, I don't know anything about them. If they do exist, thank God for them, because I think they would be our answer, our prayers, all coming together. We do need to expose, we need to fight things legally. If we can't do it, if we can't protest, which I think we need to do.
Well, they're banning it all, banning it, stopping everything. We can't even buy chocolate for Easter.
Is that true?
Yeah, the minister banned us from buying Easter eggs. It's a frivolous thing. We can't do that. Can't have Easter eggs.
But we're allowing
Easter. Yeah.
We're allowing ourselves to be controlled.
Well, exactly. Okay.
I mean, that's ridiculous. I've seen clips of where the police are arresting people for or checking people to see that they're buying essential items, and arresting people for going into their gardens and their front lawns. I mean, the world is falling apart as we know it. There is no going back to normality of what we knew before. There isn't. We've had the rug taken from us on a mass level. We do need to start. The answer of what we can do is we need to start coming together. We need to start meditating together in groups, talking at UFO.
Be careful about that, because a lot of people did a meditation and they were attacked very severely and had a very bad time. These mass meditations are very, very bad news. You've got to be very careful. And I have to say, Simon Parkes was very adamant that his connecting consciousness people did a protected meditation, whereas others did this and they just let a whole pile of bad stuff in. It's not a good idea to do this you've got to be careful what you're doing here.
Then we need to do it under the radar. We need to come together en masse, in secret, if need be, at night, if need be, and we need to connect and get together. We need to change things. We need to shift things. Yes, we need to be love and light, but we do need to take action, because the doors are going to close and close and close, like David Icke says. And if we don't stop it, the doors are going to close.
Things are happening every minute, every time. Thank you, Carol, for part 2. We'll join you again on a part 3, I'm sure, soon. So any final word on this tonight?
Be love, be light, but we need to take action. We all have the ability to connect with our guides, with our loved ones, with Jesus, with Pleiadian energy, with Sirius energy. These conspiracy theories are not conspiracy theories. They're not crap. They're not full of BS. They are real and true. And we're seeing that now on a mass scale where people are waking up.
Well, who would have guessed that we're under all in house arrest so easily globally?
Yeah. United we stand, divided we fall, and that is what's happening. We need to come together. We need to figure out a way to come together in secret if need be, at night if need be, but we need to find a way to connect and to call upon the positive ET races that are out
the
there.
Most High, I would suggest. The Most High, I would suggest.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for now. We'll join you again next time. Bye for now.